These are 10 secrets the royal family will never expose. Number 10. Princess Diana's mental state. Apparently when she was still with us, Princess Diana struggled with mental health issues. She was actually struggling with depression and thought of taking her own life many times, even acting on the thoughts 5 times. Diana was said to have flung herself downstairs, cut her wrists with a razor, cut her chest and thighs with a knife, thrown herself at a glass cabinet, and cut herself with a lemon slicer in tormented cries for help. Unfortunately, she doesn't seem to have gotten much help from her family, as many of them think seeking treatment doesn't look good for them. Number 9. Their legitimacy. There's a centuries-old claim that Edward IV was illegitimate, born to Cecily, Duchess of York, by an English archer, surnamed Blayborn by some, while her husband, Richard Plantagenet, 3rd Duke of York, was fighting elsewhere in France. The legitimacy of Edward IV was the subject of speculation at the time, and a document in Rowan Cathedral is presented by Dr. Michael Jones as indicating that Richard and Cecily were about 100 miles or 160 kilometers apart during the 5-week period when Edward's conception must have occurred, assuming that the pregnancy went to a normal term. If Edward were indeed illegitimate, then he and his descendants would have had no valid claim to the throne, so the claim suggests that the real monarchs were the heirs of his legitimate brother George, Duke of Clarence. Number 8. The Hidden Prince. King George V and Queen Mary had been hiding a 6th son from the public, as he had epileptic seizures and George believed it would make their family appear weak. Due to these seizures, Prince John spent the last 4 years of his life in York Cottage at the Sandringham estate. The prince tragically passed away while he was very young due to a tragic seizure. The prince would have been Queen Elizabeth II's uncle. This is extremely unfortunate and reveals the extreme stigma against mental and physical ailments the royal family has. Number 7. When it was revealed that Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth II were distant cousins. This revelation was initially reported by Business Insider. The report states that both Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip are directly related to Queen Victoria. The relation is that Queen Victoria was Elizabeth's paternal great-great-grandmother and Prince Philip was related on his mother's side. Keeping things in the family is well known to have happened throughout history with royal families around the world, and the royal family of the United Kingdom is no exception. The thought process behind it is to keep the family pure and the royals royal through blood. Number 6. The current king is related to Dracula. Yes, you heard that correctly. Many people refer to the ruling class as vampires, but this time it actually has meaning. King Charles is believed to be Vlad's great-grandson 16 times removed through King George V's consort Queen Mary. Since discovering the historic link, Charles has visited the region numerous times, bought property in Transylvania, and even carried out charity work there through his Prince of Wales Foundation. Vlad the Impaler was the original inspiration for Dracula, as he was ruthless and forced gypsies to eat each other while he watched. Sheesh, that's crazy stuff, man. Number 5. When King Charles drank while he was 14 years old. At a pub, the young prince was overheard by a tabloid journalist as he ordered a cherry brandy in the village of Stornoway Harbor. The prince recounted the moment in an interview, stating, "I said the first drink that came into my head because I'd drunk it before, when it was cold. I was shooting." This caused huge controversy for the royal family, and was in the news for a long time and on every tabloid, probably hidden now. It is known that Prince Charles, now King Charles, is a drinker. He prefers many strong beverages, especially before dinner, and maybe this incident is the catalyst for his love of truth serum. Number 4. A royal was suspected of being Jack the Ripper. The member of the royal family in question was Prince Albert Edward Victor, Duke of Clarence, Queen Victoria's grandson and heir presumptive to the throne of England. Prince Albert Edward Victor, or Eddie as he was affectionately known, most certainly was not Jack the Ripper. Indeed, royal records show that he wasn't even in London on the dates of the crime. From the 29th of August to the 7th of September, he was staying with Viscount Down at Danby Lodge, Grosmont, Yorkshire, which would rule him out as the perpetrator of Polly Nichols, who was removed from the world on August 31st. Number 3. The time Sarah Ferguson sold out her Prince X. In 2010, a journalist went undercover as a businessman and offered Ferguson £500,000 in exchange for scandalous information about her ex-husband, Prince Andrew, Duke of York. News source The Guardian reported that Sarah Ferguson said to the reporter, "That opens up everything you would ever wish for. I can open any door you want, and I will for you. Look after me, and he'll look after you. You'll get it back tenfold." The Duchess later apologized, claiming she had a serious lapse in judgment. The journalist probably could have used this opportunity to get clips or comments of her disrespecting Prince Andrew and spilling some juicy secrets if they kept going, but there was no evidence I could find of that happening. Number 2. When a prince partied like a rock star. A British royal prince with matinee idol looks and an artistic temperament falls into bad company and gets hooked on hard substances. He leads a scandalous life with both men and women, and is rumored to have fathered several illegitimate children. His impeccable dress sense makes him a style icon. He marries a beautiful European princess, and they become both the nation's favorites and the toast of high society, but the bisexual affairs allegedly continue. Leaving the Royal Navy, which he hates, he becomes the first royalty to work as a civil servant. Prince George Edward Alexander Edmund was the royal in question, and is always left out of the conversation when talking about the history of royals. He is known as the Forgotten Prince. Number 1, they travel with bags of their own blood. Queen Elizabeth II, Prince Charles, and Prince William were all known to have traveled with bags of their own blood. This was apparently if an emergency occurred and a transfusion was needed urgently. While it may seem odd, when you think about the importance of the monarch's health and how blood supplies might sometimes be questionable, it just makes sense to bring her own in case of an emergency blood transfusion. I do find the image kind of funny to think about, especially after finding out that Prince Charles is distantly related to Dracula. Thanks for watching.